architect in a company called Neste. Previously we have been Neste Oil, so I think hopefully most of you know our company. And today, well, I was asked by Janne to come and talk about, from technical point of view, that why did we choose actually Drupal for our next content management system for our websites or web services. But as in a enterprise architect role, nowadays my role is more to be this kind of horizontal expert in many different areas and understand basically what our company is doing and in different areas and understand different kind of technologies and so I'm not so involved in technology as such. So my presentation is focusing on the actual process and the there is some string process and the journey that we took for selecting Drupal in our company, and I have to say that it was a long journey and sometimes difficult journey, because also in our company open source, for example, was not that traditional. So Neste has been traditionally big Microsoft house, and we had all Java and Oracle and you name it, these kind of big systems. So this open source was totally something new for us. But just a short introduction. This is actually my first website that I have sold and done. It's from '99 and it's for Tapani Kans. I don't know if you know this Finnish famous singer, but I was working back then in this, or we had this kind of small web agency that did this kind of really basic web stuff. So I have started in long time ago, and I have been working in Nokia 8+ years and Nokia Siemens Networks some time, and then as a senior consultant in Tieto related to digital services, and now around 3 years in Neste. So that's my background, and I'm graduated from Helsinki University of Technology as a communication engineering, my main topic. But then, short summary about Neste. So we have also started long time ago. So it was after the Second World War when Neste was established by Finnish government, and it was basically for the reason of getting oil into Finland and securing basically our capabilities of acting or getting oil and then building refineries into our country, and still nowadays I think the Prime Minister Council owns like over 50% of Neste, so it's basically still like a government-owned company. But we have done lots of new things also lately, so I could something about those next. So Neste operates basically in 3 different areas. So the retail business is the most visible one for you all. I think it's basically the refinery, or not refineries, but stations, which we have around 800, I think, in Finland, and some in Baltic countries, and then some in Russia. But it's basically the Neste oil stations in Finland. Plus then also selling oil products and fuels to big and small companies like farmers and so on. Then all products is also a business for bigger companies. So basically, most of the fuels sold in Finland is most probably refined by us. So it's even though it's sold by ST1 or ABC, most probably it has been refined in Porvoo or Naantali. And then renewable products, it's a most of the newest business that we have, and it's basically trying to create a sustainable economy around these renewable fuels and products, and nowadays I think it's 70% of the products are actually made from different kind of industry residuals and wastes. So basically, for example, I don't know, kalanperkujätteet. If you basically make salmon fillets, there is lots of leftovers, and we make out of those high quality diesel and renewable products. And for example, Google is our customer, so their buses in California actually are running by our renewable diesel. Well, some numbers. So yeah, largest owner Finnish state, 5,000 employees in 50 different countries, and so we have production sites in Europe, in Rotterdam, Porvoo and Naantali, and then in Singapore. And in Bahrain we have this kind of joint venture which basically produces these base oils, and then some sales and marketing units around the globe. So we see as ourselves as a global company with a local twist. So then to the actual topic. So background for our web renewal. So basically the starting point where we started this whole thing. So this whole journey started around 2011 or 12, and basically we have accumulated this kind of technical depth in the web area already many years, and we had old stuff, old proprietary technologies and like Windows NT servers based websites and Windows 2003 and Visual Basic 6, so really old stuff serving our customers, and basically the reasoning for this was that there had been lots of these kind of big, for example, ERP projects that had been postponing these web-related activities, and also I think our higher management didn't see web as a really important channel at that time. But of course, things changed, so there had been some technological changes, organizational changes, business and marketplace changes, and we saw already in the beginning of this, or during that time, that this whole digitalization will be a huge thing, and we need to improve our presence also in the digital channels. So this was just an overview of different kind of services in different for different kind of customers and in different channels back in 2013. So we had quite actually good web services back in the days. I think we were the first one in the oil retail business to provide this kind of, for example, extranet service to our customers, but those were in the early in the 2000 and so on. So there was a huge need to renew this stuff. And this also gives perspective. So these red colors means that there are multiple components or some components that are basically end of their life cycle. So we have run out of Microsoft extended support or something like that. So that was the background, and then starting point for the renewal. So we had a planning phase lasting, I would say, from 2 to 4 years. So which basically involves lots of these kind of internal lobbying and discussions with various stakeholders, going through different kind of steering groups and portfolio meetings, and it's basically convincing that hey, now this web is really something that we should do something about, and if we don't do anything, we will be challenged by our competitors in the really near future. And then of course when then the management decides something that okay, now we need to change, so they ordered various kinds of pre-studies and digital roadmap exercises, and I will show some examples of those in a short. We did also lots of benchmarking, visited other companies like big companies in Finland and in Europe, and met of course some vendors and Gartner and different kind of tech partners that try to figure out that where this whole web area is moving, and what should be our next steps. And of course in the parallel we did take our first steps, thinking that what should be our next architecture and how we should do this whole web area. So these are some slides from these kind of pre-studies and digital roadmap, just giving you the glimpse or view that what kind of stuff we are talking about before the actual RFP or proposal or quote to the vendors goes out. So, for example, thinking about what is really the added value of this whole digitalization, and what can we actually expect to achieve from different kind of process improvements, or can we actually change our business models based on new digital innovations and enhance customer experience. Yeah, and customer experience, of course, in our case, it's not only the digital service as such, it's a lot more. It's the whole process and chain of different touch points involved with the end customers. So even though if the customer orders heating oil from our website, it actually a lot more happens after that order has ended up into the customer tank. So yeah, and the technology is only just a small part of this whole activity chain. So there are people and processes and information going in different phases, and so trying to understand really what is the core added value that we can achieve with the digitalization in different business areas and different customer segments. So this is digital transformation roadmap. I don't know have we when I achieved it, but lots of activities that were designed back then in 2013, for example, and digital vision kind of stuff. Yeah, nice pictures and some visualization that how this whole new web could look like, and some trends and impacts, and well, and this is basically the purpose of these like proposal activities is to basically align the thinking inside the company and also wake up the management at different level of management to get this light bulb on, basically. Yeah. So lots of stuff. But then in parallel we thought that also the architecture should be looked at. So after discussing with different business units and interviewing the management side, so we tried to just capture on a high level that what are the things that we would like to get out of the web and these digital channels, and these are just on a really high level the topics that we need to cover with the new solution. And well, it's now 2015, but we are not yet there. But we have done first steps to actually renew the basic our services, but we have a nice vision where we are going. So then we figured out on a more concrete level that what are really like the building components of our web experiences, what things we should tackle at some point of time with some kind of solution. And then when thinking about architecture, really it's as I said, we have been really heavily on the Microsoft side, so our whole technology stack have been basically based on Microsoft products. So where to go next? So choosing product or service or on-premise, cloud, commercial products, open source. These kind of like a decisions that really what to do next. And of course, like factors that influences this whole planning. We had our current architecture, and then some constraints related to personnel and monetary, or the budgets, internal knowledge, organizational culture, and like taking these things into account when really deciding the next solution. And of course, like in our company, the management really loves Gartner, so we have to include some studies from them, because otherwise we are not relevant. Yeah. So, and basically we did some this kind of decisions along the way that for example, open source back in 2012 was still like a, well, it was not known for example for our company, but even during back then we decided that it's something that we really would like to try, and it seemed that it fitted also into our strategy to be this kind of responsible corporate in Finnish society and being more open and so on. So that was supported by back then by our management. Then we listed some vendors and technologies, and before sending out the RFPs, we actually met most of these companies or had some chat about. So there are technologies and different kind of vendors that we were considering that who could we work with. And then solution shortlisting. So these are like the factors that based on we actually then ranked out these different solution alternatives. So of course fit for business needs, vendor support in Nordic countries and local support in Finland, and of course costs, so total cost of the solution during next couple of years and license costs and preferences. We actually wanted to see some happy customers because some cases when we discussed with some company and their web development or architects, they were pretty okay with the products that they had, but they were not really that happy. So we wanted that this solution have some also happy customers. And of course technical feasibility, so architecturally it should fit into the overall picture that we are heading towards to. It should be simple and easy to develop further and so on. So then you don't see that these numbers because they are hidden out, but basically from these 9 or 8 solution alternatives, we actually selected then Drupal and Episerver as 2 main candidates for our next generation content management system. And yeah, so at that time we didn't yet select one technology, so we actually saw that both of these alternatives would have been okay for us, but then we wanted to get this kind of vendor, or we thought that it's more about the actual vendor who is providing then the solution than the technology as such. Then we had a second shortlisting round, so the vendors dropped into 6. We sent out the official RFPs in the May 2014. Eliminated a couple of vendors based on the written proposals, and then actually met more seriously with 4 different vendors, and then after many internal meetings and discussions, we ended up with them back then with actually Exove in September 2014. And actually we had a different also vendor for the concept and UI part, so we worked with ActiveArc with the concept. And the implementation started in October, and our first Drupal project went live then in May 2015. And now this was really the first Drupal project, and now after that one we have completed one, and now one is still ongoing. So we are actually creating our oil retail business to customer extranet solution with Drupal and WooCommerce. So if you think that this whole process started in 2011, so it might give you some perspective why if you are meeting some customer, they might not at the first meeting buy your proposal. So please keep in mind that this is really a long process, and it's not because of you, but it's at least in our in big companies it's usually this internal change resistant that actually makes it really long process to get something done. So this was basically my end of my presentation, so please feel free to ask if you have some questions. I can also try to answer some more technical ones.
Has Drupal sort of you have some expectation on it based on the numbers and the others, how well it has achieved those your expectations, and are you happy using it?
Yeah, I would say that we are 85% happy or 90% happy with the Drupal solution, and I think we wanted really flexible system because we know that or knew that we have some old legacy stuff that we need to be integrating with, and our communication and marketing are really like a brand advocate, so they really want to have a pixel perfect solution in a way. So we saw that Drupal is flexible enough to comply with these kind of requirements. So we are pretty happy. Of course, there are some challenges, of course, but I think I haven't been in any IT project ever that hasn't had any kind of challenges.
Okay, then the other question that I saw that in the final scoring, episode has 24 and Drupal has 22.
Yeah.
So was were the Drupal companies sort of better than the episode companies, or were they more suitable for you, or both?
I would say more suitable for us. So those scoring numbers were only for the different technologies or solutions. So in a way, when we met the different vendors, so we tried to find the perfect fit for us, and that fit includes both the vendor and the technology, and we thought that Drupal plus then Exove was then back then the best solution for us.
What was the thing that made you decide the Exove proposal over the alternative to that?
Well, I didn't include those those shortlisting parameters there, but it's the overall I think we had a good team from Exove, and I think that is one of the most important thing. I would say that there are companies that can do various stuff, but if the project team doesn't get this kind of together doing feeling when interviewing, then it's really hard to actually get at the end of the day anything done. So it was overall the feeling and well, the different, of course, other parameters, but yeah.
Any positive or negative surprises you found out only later about Drupal, what technology-wise?
Yeah, from technology-wise, I would say one negative maybe would be that there are so many ways to do same thing. So lots of different kind of modules and different kind of alternatives. So it really requires also thorough planning before the implementation, that how things will be done, so that we don't end up doing them twice or 3 times. On positive side, I would say it's really flexible and you can basically do whatever you want with it and bend the corners and so on. So I like the idea, and it has been working quite okay for our corporate side. And one of the business requirements was that basically the communications person who are actually doing the publishing the articles and press releases and stuff are happy with the new system, and they have been pretty happy with the new system. So it has decreased their work.
Have you interacted with the Drupal community per se, except being now here, and then you were also at Drupal Café?
Yeah, no, not that much, but in future we might. So of course we don't have that many personnel that, because mainly Neste internal persons are either project managers or some kind of specialists and we are mainly like so we don't have like own developers as such, so therefore I think we haven't been in that much involved in the Drupal community.
Have you a corporate stance related to the contributing call back to the community? You mentioned that you want to be a good corporate citizen.
Yeah.
So is that something that you have discussed internally?
Yes, we have discussed it internally, and we have made this kind of general decision that we can contribute to the community. So if there's something nice things done in our projects, we can also submit them back to the community. There is no like a restriction on that one. Yeah.
Are you planning on using Drupal on other projects?
Yes, we are. We are gradually moving from these kind of big one-time projects to this kind of towards this kind of continuous development. So we try to build our Drupal so that it could actually establish this kind of web platform which could be then extended or used in many kind of different projects. There are lots of this kind of really quick business needs that, for example, our marketing would like to do some small campaign side, or we would actually wanted to create for some smaller group of customers some specific service. So we would like to utilize the Drupal also there, so that we would have one code base that could be easily taken into use for these kind of small projects that could be then completed in a short time frame.
Where are you hosting the website? Where is it going?
Yeah, so we have this kind of hybrid model for the time being. So part of the site is hosted in Rackspace cloud environment, but then some of the servers are hosted in our infrastructure vendor Capgemini. So, but we have seen that because we are working also with Google and other cloud vendors, and so in future I don't see any reason that why we couldn't actually host all our Drupal experiences in some cloud environment.
The last question, the most important one.
Yep.
Have you thought of making Tapari Kansa website on Drupal?
No, actually I haven't looked at what kind of site he has today, but yeah. It could be nice to refresh coding memories. Haven't done coding since I think 2004 or something. Yeah.
Thank you, Antti.
Thanks.